In today's episode, we will discuss how to make fishing videos. So I'm sure many of you guys got GoPros or other kind of cameras for Christmas. Stay tuned for part 2 of this series where I will explain pretty in depth, like no one has ever done before, at least on the fishing YouTube I've seen, on how to edit your videos. We'll see you next time. Okay, I know what you're thinking. 3 years, Tyler. It'd take you 3 years to make this stinking video? Yeah, it did. It did. I had to clean my room for this video. But yes, 3 years ago, I made a video that was, as you can see on the screen, how to create and film and direct your own fishing video. And today, 3 years later, I'm finally going to sit down on the computer. I'm going to have several different camera angles, and I'm going to show you guys with a screen recording how I edit my fishing videos. So if you guys are watching this video right now and you are curious about how to maybe make videos for yourself, or you're just sitting there thinking, Tyler, you make some cool videos. Thank you, by the way. And I want to find out exactly how you do it. So I would implore all you guys to stay on this video, even if you guys are not interested in making videos. I think it's cool, and no matter what genre of activity you like, to see how the person that you watch does things behind the scenes, and you're going to see exactly how I edit a video. So I'm going to take some footage from completely raw, I'm going to import it into my editing system, I'm going to edit the video, and then I'm going to output the final version for you guys so you guys can see exactly what goes on from start to finish with a YouTube video. And this is not just fishing videos. This could be hunting, it could be vlogs, it could be cooking. Of course, every genre is a little bit different, and you can edit and film your videos the way that you choose, but I'm going to kind of go based on this method here. So if you guys did not see my original video on how to make fishing videos, as in how to film and produce them, stop this video, click up here in this corner, because you don't want to miss it. And then after you're finished with that one, you're going to click back on this video, and you're going to watch how I edit my videos. So let's get started. Now, before we even hop into my computer at all, we're going to actually talk about file management real quick. So one of the things that has helped me so much in my YouTube videography filming journey and career, I guess, is being able to manage my files well. When I first started making YouTube videos, I would download the footage from my camera onto my computer, maybe on the desktop of my computer, and it would sit there for a while until my computer told me, you are out of space, you have to clear up space. And so I started investing in external hard drives. If you guys do not have external hard drives, you need to get some, because it's really the only way to store your footage in a easy to maintain way. And so I use the 4 terabyte Western digital hard drives. I think this one is $120 for 4 terabytes. It lasts me, depending how much I'm shooting, about a third to a half of the year. This one here has actually lasted me just over half of 1 year. So I have this thing almost fully filled up with 4 terabytes. That is 4,000 gigabytes of footage. And so I'm gonna plug it into my computer here. So opening up the file here, we're gonna go to summer 2019. That is what I have named my drive. And as you can see, we have folders here for every single video that I filmed. So whatever video you see on YouTube, I have a folder that has all the files contained for that individual video. So we're gonna go down to Minnesota trip. It contains all of the actual folders. So it's a mega folder that contains the individual video folders for my Minnesota trip. I do that for all the trips I go on. If I film more than one video on a trip, I will have a mega folder and then smaller folders within that one. And within Minnesota folder, of course, I have all of the videos that I filmed while I was in Minnesota this summer. We're gonna go to River Kayak, where I filmed the kayak flipping jig video, and you're gonna see then all the folders within that video folder that house the files. So you have the audio files, chest mount, another chest mount, the pictures that I took, my Sony footage, so it could be anything from vlog footage to slow motion, and then I have the YOLO stick, which is the GoPro I had on the stick in front of my kayak. And so that is where I house all of my footage. I don't want to put it all into one folder. I want to make sure that it's separated and named properly. That way I know exactly where my footage is sitting. And as you guys can see, if I open up audio, you'll see all the audio files. Chesty, you'll see the Chesty files, all that jazz. And then I have a project file folder. And this is where I house the what's called project file that my editing system creates. So we're gonna hop into Adobe Premiere Pro here. I'm actually though gonna create a new folder, and we're gonna call it Project File 2. And so we're gonna open up Premiere Pro. I'm using, where's it at? Adobe Premiere Pro 2020. It is not the only editing system. You can use iMovie. I used iMovie for 3 years. You can use Final Cut Pro. There's Sony Vegas. There's Windows Movie Maker. There's Camtasia. There are so many video editing programs out there. You just have to find the one that fits best for you. And in my professional sphere of doing this full time, I use Premiere Pro. It's, in my opinion, the best one for the money. We're gonna go with a new project in Premiere. We're gonna name this project River Kayak Edit 2. Then we're gonna click Browse, and that is to select where the project file goes. So when I first edited videos, I didn't actually select a folder to put my project files in. I just saved it wherever the computer saved it. And on my old laptop, the project files would always save to the hard drive on the computer itself. So the hard drive would get filled up with extra project files. So with Premiere, it makes copies of things, it makes unnecessary files everywhere. So if you don't have your project files saved to your hard drive that you have the videos on, you're gonna have files all over the place. So I click Browse, I'm gonna click on Summer 2019, we're gonna go to Minnesota. Where is it at? We're gonna find Minnesota trip, we're gonna go to River Kayak, we're gonna go to Project File 2, and then we're gonna say Select Folder. And then everything else is good. All the settings here usually come standard with the computer. So I click OK. And boom, you have a wide open Adobe Premiere Pro file. So I don't exactly know where I'm gonna put my face on this screen because it's kind of a important screen that we have here. But this is what Adobe Premiere Pro looks like when you first open it up. You can change the views up here, color correction, effects, audio, and they have different styles of editing. I like to keep it on editing. So what I do first, I go down in the bottom corner here. It's called the project window. And in here you have media browser, libraries, information, effects, markers, history. I really only use project and effects. So of course, project imports my footage and effects adds effects to it. So I'm gonna double click on import media, go to Summer 2019, I'm gonna go to Minnesota trip, I'm gonna go to River Kayak, and I'm gonna import all of these files into Premiere Pro. So I'll skip to when they're all imported. So we have skipped when I have all the footage into my project file down here in the left-hand corner, and then I also added in a file from my desktop here on my computer that houses all of these songs that I use for my editing, of course until I run out of the songs. Until I've used the songs too many times each, then I actually go download new ones. And one thing that really saves a lot of time when you're making a chronological fishing video. So you're getting to the water, you're filming an intro, shooting B-roll, capturing footage, catching fish, shooting an outro. It's a chronological video. You want to put down here on this little thing here, it says sort icons. You click on this and you click on by, oh, my computer's being slow, by name. And if you click on sort by name, it basically sorts the files by the number name that your camera gave them. So when you import into Premiere, it usually imports based on file size first. So when you open up a folder, you would get all the videos based on file size. But that doesn't help you if you're trying to edit a video chronologically. So importing them and sorting them by name helps out a lot. And so now that we have all the footage in the project file in the bottom left corner, we're going to make a new sequence. So down here it says new item, looks like a little page turning over. You click that and you click new sequence. Of course, it gives you a lot of sequence presets, and I just choose one under digital SLR, 1080p, 1080p 30, and I'm gonna name this sequence River Kayak. Boom, and I click OK. You guys might have seen what changed there. As soon as I added a new sequence, this long rectangular area over on the bottom right side that takes up the majority of the bottom half of the screen, it changed into a timeline or a sequence. So what you have here is you have what starts off as 3 video files and 3 audio files, and they stack on top of each other. So I'll do a little bit of explaining here. So I'm gonna grab a Sony file, I'm gonna drag this clip in, and you can see here we have the video on the top, the audio on the bottom. If I drag the video to video 2, the audio matches and drags to video 2, video 3, etc. And so that is exactly how, it's like keep existing settings. I always click keep existing settings. So if you have a timeline that you create for a certain, let's say 1080p, the video quality at 30 frames per second, and you import a clip like the Sony that was shot at 120 frames, it's gonna ask you if you wanna keep those settings. You usually do wanna keep those settings. So I'll get rid of that clip, but this here is the timeline. This is where I do all of the work. All of the clips that stack against each other and next to each other all go on the timeline here. And so So now that I begin editing, I'm gonna turn on the GoPro. I'm gonna see if I can't do a little bit of GoPro angle on my mouse and my keyboard as well. So hopefully you guys can see this right here. This is going to help you guys out a lot if you are actually interested in learning how to edit, not just watching my screen do it, but also seeing a few, cutaway shots of the keyboard here. And so what I'm gonna do is, just like any fishing video, you need some kind of intro. So I'm going to click on Sony, because that is usually what I film my intros with. When you double click on a folder in the project file, it opens up the bin, so bin or folder, it opens it up, you can drag this around wherever you want, and then it opens up also a clip when you double click it into the source window. So there's two windows, there's source and program. So you have the source on the left, the program on the right, and the source basically opens up any raw videos that you haven't edited. Then when you're playing back clips, so let's say I draw this clip into the timeline, this one on the right side of the program shows exactly what you're seeing on the timeline. So I usually select portions of a clip that I want in the source window to the left, drag them into my timeline, and then edit them by watching the program window on the right. So if this is all like driving a spaceship to you guys, trust me, it was for me as well at the start, but once you learn Premiere Pro, it is super easy. So we're gonna begin. Gotta find the intro here. So I have my first clip selected in here, and this first clip is basically just me pushing off the bank. And usually I would say this clip is me saying, what's up guys, welcome back to TRF, today we're gonna catch some fish, and then I'll go into the B-roll section. So we're just gonna imagine this first clip is me saying that. So then I'm gonna grab a song. Sometimes I have a song pre-selected before I even film. Sometimes I just pick a song when I'm editing. And so I'm just gonna pick a random song, and I double click it again, it opens up in the source file, and you can see the audio waveform. So when you double click on a video, you see, video on there. And you can of course click between audio and video over here on the left side. But with audio, you don't even have a video stream. So click on audio and you can see all the waveforms. This is exactly how I edit the dope B-roll of my videos with the cool beats. I'm gonna listen to it. This song is hard. So what we're gonna do here is we are going to add some markers. So I use the key M on my keyboard, and it adds a marker exactly when a beat happens. So play the song with spacebar. Let's see. Pretty simple one. So now that I have some markers in my audio, I'm gonna put in, which is the letter I, on the source window. I'm gonna go all the way over here to the right, where the song ended, a little bit past where it ended, and I'm gonna click O. And that marks an in and an out point. And so if I drag the song in, it's not gonna drag the whole song in, it's only gonna drag the part that I selected. So I will put my cursor here on the audio thing, and I'm gonna drag it in, and I'm gonna put it below audio 1. I'm gonna put it in audio 2, because once you learn about stacking audio, you'll realize you can stack things on top of each other. In audio, all of them can play at once. Video, the one on the very top is the one that gets seen. So by putting two audio files on top of each other, like this, you can hear both of them at the same time. I'm going to drag where the beat starts with my audio right to the end of my clip here. That was a little bit too late, so I will use the arrows there to mark that. Cool. So in order to get the audio right, I'm gonna press G, which is my audio gain. You can also right click and you can go to audio gain right there, but I've selected the keyboard shortcut of G. Once I have the audio selected, I'm gonna usually -6 decibels. I wanna make sure that this area over here, the audio decibel area, does not rise above -3 to -6. That's just a thing that audio people do. You never wanna have your video too loud. I wanna make sure that I'm hearing what I'm saying in the audio section. So I'll drag down this audio right here. I'll press P, which is a pin, and I can drag, oh sorry, wrong one.
I will drag that back up. I will drag down the song at a point here and a point here and drag the song down to like -26. And you can hear the song slowly come in. That wasn't the best example, but you get the GIF right there. And I'm gonna add gain. I'm gonna add the audio up a little bit, maybe 2 decibels on the GoPro.
All right. Let the challenge begin. Let the challenge begin, folks.
Cool, perfect. So now that I have the audio and the video together, it's time for me to select some B-roll. So I'm gonna go to my project window, click on the bin of Sony or the file of Sony, and I'm gonna collect some of these slow motion clips. So this one here, I'm just gonna do this super jankily. Usually, if jankily is even a word, I would spend a little more time on B-roll, but just for the sake of today's video, boom, select this clip, perfect. I'm gonna do an in and out like I mentioned, I and O. I'm gonna drag the video in, not the audio, because for this specific B-roll section, I don't need the audio, and also, I didn't get great audio. So I'm gonna drag this in. I'm gonna usually click on a second one. Let's see where I like it. Right there, perfect. Nice. I'm just usually gonna go through a bunch of clips and just drag a ton of footage into my timeline that I might possibly use for the B-roll sequence. Perfect, get a nice shot of my reel. And I'm sure there's better B-roll that I could pick besides this. But here, we got 4 pieces of B-roll in. These are shot at 120 frames per second. I'm gonna drag all of these out a little bit. And then I'm going to select this clip. I'm gonna hear it out here. So I'm gonna start off by pressing S for speed. And that is, of course, you can get there as well by right-clicking on the clip and going speed duration. I've just set the keyboard shortcut to the letter S for speed, and I'm gonna select the speed to 50%. It's gonna slow the clip down to about 50% of real speed, and I'll go. Nice, no need to do anything faster there. I will drag the clip, of course, as you can see, to the marker. That helps us stay right on beat. Markers help so much. I'm gonna add a second clip, and I think on this one as well, I'm gonna do 50% too. So on this one, I'll do, just keep it nice and simple. Okay, this next one is gonna take a little bit more thing. Oh, and sorry, I'm cutting the clips using the keyboard shortcut of C. C brings up some tools over here to the left, and C is the razor tool, or C, I call it the cut tool. So I can cut whatever I want. And Command Z is how I undo things, or Control C if you guys are on PC like I am. So now we have 2 clips in there. This one here, this clip goes in where the beat drops a little harder. So I'm gonna start fast at 100%. I'm gonna make a cut right at that bum ba da dum boom tap on that clap there. Make a cut there. Press S on the second clip and slow that one down to 50%. So you'll see it goes 100%, 50. And I'm gonna go another cut back to 100 after that. So boom on this clip right here. Press S for speed, 100, and you'll see the difference there. It is fast, slow, fast. It's exactly what I call a speed warp. Now there's better ways to do it that make it look more smooth, but in terms of getting things out quickly, that's how I do it. That is a speed warp. It goes from fast to slow to fast all within one clip. Then I'm gonna speed warp this one even faster. I'm gonna speed warp the second half of this next clip. Well, my computer is currently having a seizure. So right there, boom, click, 50%. Boom, 200%, 50. See, that clip didn't exactly work out, but now I'll click that one out of there, and then I will add this one at 50%. And we're gonna end the B-roll segment right there. So what I'm doing is I'm cutting, pressing backspace or delete to delete the clips, and that right there is how I make a nice B-roll segment. So now that I have the B-roll segment, it is time that we add in a fish catch. So with my average videos, I'd say I have anywhere from 5 to 10 fish catches in the video. I can make a full-length YouTube video with 1 to 3 fish catches. I've even made them with 0 fish catches. Of course, I hate doing that because I want to show you guys catching fish. But in order to make a video, I only need about 3 to 7 fish catches. Any more is awesome. It's unbelievable. I love doing crazy hook set montages of just hook set fish, but that's not always ideal. So now that we have the intro, sort of, we have the B-roll segment, I'm going to select a chesty clip. I'm gonna go to the very end of the video where I remember I caught a crazy fish out of a log jam. Right here, you can see my jig drops in. I'm gonna put in the source monitor, spacebar, let it play. Perfect, so now I'm gonna drag the audio and the video, which you get by using your cursor in the middle here of the source file, of the source video. Instead of selecting audio or video as you do here, you're on the video side of things, you drag the middle, and it drags both of them into your timeline. And of course, you can drag them wherever you want, but I drag and they stay there until you release your mouse, and they release. So I'm going to take a pin, and because I don't want the music to be too loud over what I am showing, I'm going to start lowering the level of the audio on the audio waveform here. So now, as you can see, I've opened and closed the audio to make it bigger and smaller. I'll keep it about there. I'll put a pin there and a pin about there, so it gets lower as it goes. So you can see it's getting nice and low. Set the hook, and it's low enough to hear the audio, but still have some audio from the song in the background. So that is a perfect example right there of how to have a seamless transition between your B-roll and your fish catch or whatever comes next in your video. So of course the video is going to be much longer than this usually, but I'm going to go to Sony, go to the end of the video where I filmed my outro, and I have it right here, and I'm going to kind of put my in point right around the gear that I'm talking about, drag those clips in, and I'm going to keep the music playing underneath. I love to have music playing as much as I can. I found that in video editing, it's best to have a seamless transition from things, so you're not just cutting back and forth from no audio to tons of music to no music. I like to have things as flowy as possible. It definitely helps the viewer watch. And so, as you can see, I drug in my clip of my fish catch and then my outro. And I'm going to do a little bit of a film trick here. So I'm going to drag the audio song down 1 whole track to 3. I'm going to drag my video from the fish catch up to 2 and the audio down to 2. So now those match. And I'm going to extend just the video itself of the fish catch over my outro. So how I'm going to do that is I'm going to click lock here on video 2, on audio 2, excuse me, and that allows me to do whatever I want to video 2 without changing audio 2. So I'm going to extend video 2 longer. That way you'll get this effect. And I will have an instructional coming out. As you can see, the audio there started to play underneath the video that you saw. So the audios can stack, videos also can stack, but as you can see, the GoPro, my fish catch, was above. It was stacked above. It was painted, you could say, above my Sony. But the audio was still playing. So this is what I do all the time. I do it 3 or 4 times in every video. It just helps, like I said, have seamless transitions from fish catching to talking points. Coming out. And so I have those right there. I'm going to make sure my audio sounds good with the song. Detailing how I caught these fish and what I was targeting. Sounds good to me. I'm going to drag song down again. Make sure I match the song to the end of the video. I'm going to, again, mark a point there for song, or on the waveform, and then I'm going to mark another point and drag it all the way down so the song will end as the video ends with the audio of my Sony. Usually I like to drag the Sony audio down at the very end as well, two little tiny ones right there with markers. And I use markers all the time with audio to drag. So let's say I'm catching a big fish and I scream and my audio is way too loud. I usually put a point on the 2 points on the left side of the audio and 2 points on the right side of where that spike happens, and I'll drag down that section so it's not blowing out y'all's ears. So audio is by far the most important part of the video. Video is important, don't get me wrong, you watch the video, but if you can't stand the audio, the video is no good. So I focus a lot on audio, not only on the filming portion, but also on the editing. It is possible to fix audio that got messed up in filming, but if you can get good audio when you're filming, that will save you a ton of time in the editing process. And right there, I have a completely finished video. So I'm gonna render, not because I have to, just because I want it to play out better. And that is literally the bare bones version of how to make a YouTube video. You have an intro, you have some B-roll to music, then you have some action in the video. I don't care if it's fishing, I don't care if it's vlog or lifestyle or travel, you have some kind of action, and then you have an outro. So right now I just created a 1.5 minute long video. I'm gonna show that here at the end of the video, and then I'll talk about a few last talking points that I might have missed. Actually, before I do that, you have to export the video, of course. So if you guys are here for actual Premiere Pro tips, I go to Control M or Command M. That allows you to export what's called the work area. Your work area is what you see right down here. The green bar, that is your work area. So I'm just gonna select Control M, export the work area. Don't worry about the settings. You can watch tons of YouTube videos about those. I have them changed a little bit for my certain needs, but I use H.264 for the format. I match source to the highest bitrate. If you don't know what that means, totally cool. Of course, I'm gonna have the output name as the same as the timeline. So it's River Kayak. I'm gonna export video and audio. I'm usually gonna use maximum render quality. Today I'm not going to, just to save some time. If you have rendered your footage, you click Use Previews, and then you can click Export. And Premiere Pro will export the video and you will have it ready to go on your desktop. So, with that said, let's hop into the video.
All right, let the challenge begin. Let the challenge begin, folks. Goodness gracious. No way, no way, no way, no way, no way, no way. Yes! Oh my crap. Sorry, buddy. I'm sorry, buddy. Oh. And that's what you do right there. I literally flipped. You guys see that? In that hole right there. Let us sink all the way to the bottom. And he ate it. I will have an instructional coming out kind of detailing how I caught these fish and what I was targeting in these little current breaks with this wood. I think I'm going to do some sort of wood flipping instructional, jig flipping instructional. So you guys will see that very, very soon on the channel. And if it's already up, click up in this corner or click down in the description below. And we'll see you all in the next episode of TRF.
So that right there is the method of how I edit my videos. I'm sure that I left out a few things that are crucial to video editing, whether it's settings or file management, or even explaining how I edited things with my hands. I hope that you guys got a good view of exactly how I do things. Of course, this is a very, very bare bones video. There's no color correction. There's hardly any B-roll. Of course, I usually spend a lot more time on my B-roll than I did on this video. There's always more fish catches, usually more interaction. Occasionally I'll have graphics come up on the screen, so you'll see, like right here, a lower third. That is what is called a lower third, or an LT. It is a graphic that happens in the lower 1/3 of your screen, and that is usually a social media handle. That is a tip, a fishing tip that I give, really anything of that nature that is a lower third. I have all kinds of graphics that I put on the screen besides lower thirds. I have a lot more in-depth editing I could go into about how I shoot my intros. So there's a whole lot more I could go into. I don't want to bore you guys with the details. I'm sure this video is not going to get a crazy amount of views because it's not, fully fishing related, not fishing tips. But I'm out of content and I needed to film something. So 3 years later, you guys finally got what you asked for. If you guys have any more questions about Premiere Pro, if you guys are my subscribers or not, welcome to the channel. If you guys love fishing and just love lifestyle content, you guys have found the right place. If you guys are not subscribed, click that subscribe button. Also, if you are subscribed and you're not seeing the videos very often, click that notification bell because YouTube does not really show you guys my videos unless you have notifications on. Also, if you're on a computer, bookmark the page. I have new videos every Monday, Thursday, and Saturday. Occasionally I'll have a video out a Sunday or a Wednesday. I'm putting out 3 to 4 videos a week, so make sure you guys are tuning in every single week several times for that new fresh content. I'll have some awesome fishing videos coming for you guys soon. But like I said, I just wanted to sit down and finally explain to you guys how I make my videos. I didn't explain exactly what my editing setup is. I have, of course, a simple Logitech 2-speaker and subwoofer system. I have a Dell, if I can move it down, a Dell 28-inch 2K display. It was used. I got it for like $110. I have a simple Dell, keyboard, $10. I have a wireless Microsoft mouse, $30, and then I have this cool full color changing mouse pad that my camera guy Perry got for me. And then over here I have the custom PC that I built. It is a mixture of a lot of different things. I don't exactly know what they do, but we got graphics cards, you got a terabyte of SSD. I probably won't list exactly what is in this computer, but it is definitely a working machine. It is a powerhouse of the video editing kind, and so I'll link a few of these things down below. But I hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you guys on the next episode, which will be fishing related, probably, of Tyler's Real Fishing.